Hello, ladies, and welcome to season 2 of LOL Living Out Loud. So nothing's changed. Grab your lady, that means your girls. Grab yourself a drink and a journal. You're going to need a pen. And come on in to LOL Living Out Loud. Hello, ladies, and welcome to season 2 of LOL Living Out Loud. Thank you for joining me here at season 2 as we deal this season with the theme of the making of you. I know it's a ambiguous topic, the makings of you. What does that mean? So what I'm asking us to deal with this season as we do our journaling and our journal writing and prompts is we give some thought about to who we are and why we are, why we think the way we think, all of that. That's the makings of you. It's everything that makes you who you are. So, with that being said, and with no further ado, I am going to introduce my guest to you. There is Sammy and there's Tam. Yes, I only invite guests whose names rhyme, Sam and Tam. So, Sam and Tam, say hello.
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 Okay. Thank you guys for being on here as we dive into this topic of finding out who we are and doing it on purpose. And so we can live out loud. So tonight I am going to challenge you guys with a question. And it's not an easy question. And I know we're going to want to think macro, really big. But I'm going to ask you to think about 1, 2, 3, 4 things because we're going to break all these things down as the season goes on. So, Sam and Tam, here is the question on the floor. What do you know about yourself for sure? You know how Oprah has that question, what do you know for sure? Well, this is even a little deeper. What do you know about yourself for sure? It's just another way of me asking you who you are. But who you are seems to be a harder question to answer. So, what do you know about yourself for sure? Good, bad, or indifferent? What is it? So, who wants to go first? Tam, Sam, jump in. Well, that's Sam laughing. So that must be you, girl.
I know one thing about myself for sure, that I am strong.
Okay, so I'm going to push it and say, what is strong to you? And why do you say that about yourself?
For me, strong is being able to fight through anything that comes your way. Yeah. The willingness to not quit, no matter what it looks like.
Keep on going. Say more.
What was the second half of your question?
The other part is, what is strong to you and why do you say you're strong? Pick an example of maybe of one of the most difficult things you had to deal with and how you kept moving forward.
Okay. I mean, well, life helps you, I guess, or I don't want to say determines, but your life situations, bring stuff to the forefront for me. And I think one of the hardest things that I ever had to do was bury my parents.
Mm.
And I think, really loving somebody, you love your parents and you don't want them to suffer, and you put your selfish needs to the side and do what you need to do or do what they have asked you to do. So in that moment, you become the person that people are looking to. And because they see your strength, it helps others move on too. So because I always feel that if I crumble, then the whole thing crumbles. And at a fault, because that doesn't allow me to be vulnerable.
I'll put a check by that because we're going to get back to that as time goes on, as we go through this season. Ladies, if you are listening, write down in your journal, what does being strong cost you? Because there's a cost to that. Particularly as Black women, they want us to be strong. We were even supposed to be strong when we were slave women.
Yeah.
So strong that we are the leading ones dying of heart conditions and heart.
Yeah. It comes at a cost.
It comes at a cost. Yes. But you know for yourself, you know about yourself for sure, Sam, that you are strong. That's great. Tam.
Yes.
What do you know about yourself for sure? You can tell me one thing now.
Okay. What I know about myself for sure, and in my 50 plus years, I'm really just getting to realize this, but it's definitely for sure that I am an overthinker.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you the same kind of way I asked Sam. What is overthinking to you, and why do you think you do that?
It can be a good thing and a bad thing.
Okay.
I'm an overthinker because I've had a lot of things in my life earlier that caused me a lot of anxiety and depression, and I realized that it comes from me being an overthinker. But also, the good thing about it is, I think I'm prepared. I don't procrastinate. So my overthinking helps me kind of be a step ahead, and I need that in my life. So overthinking can be a good thing for me, or it can be a bad thing. But I'm learning to make my overthinking a good thing, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. And I like that you explain where it came from. Because like you said, it can be both a good thing and a bad thing, but it comes from somewhere. So right. Sam, I'm coming back to you. A second thing. What does Sam know about herself for sure?
That I love really hard.
Say more.
Sometimes to a point at a fault. I think, for instance, and I'll give an example of that. I remember, I want the best for people, and they don't even want the best for themselves. So, but because I want the best, I'm trying to show them that I love them, that I want, and it could be as simple as you following me to a parking space, and I pass the parking space so you can get in the parking space, but you pass it too.
Okay.
But I love hard, and I always give too much at a fault.
So why do you think you give too much?
I think that's just who I am. I don't think, I don't know. I think that just might be my DNA. I'm just a giver. Okay. But and within that, though, you have to be strong enough for people not to appreciate it. You have to be strong enough for people to abuse it. And still be who you are. And that's what makes it difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Sam. That was, yeah. I'm rhyming, so I'm going to move to Tam. Tam.
Yeah.
Second thing. What do you know about yourself for sure?
I know for sure that I am an encourager, even when I don't want to be, when I don't feel like it.
Why?
I have something. I'm sorry.
Why?
Why?
Why are you an encourager? Why do you think you do that?
Because people come to me when they're feeling bad or something is going on. Often, a lot. And even when I'm, in a place where I need encouragement, I find myself encouraging people, but it's really me. Like I'm talking to them, and I may be going through the same thing on that same day or even more.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have time to think about that because I'm trying to help somebody get through whatever they have going on that day or that week. And it's not like I think I pick myself to be that, but it's just it's always been like that for me, that I encourage people even when some days are really dark for me. But it helps me when by the time I'm finished, with them, it helps me get through a minute of the day, the day, maybe even a second of the day. But it seems, I encourage people a lot.
Okay. So staying along the vein of the makings of you, what makes you, who you are, what makes us who we are, I'm going to ask, and there's way more than one answer for this. There's several, we'll go throughout the season, but I'm going to ask Tam, since you just got finished speaking, I'm going to jump right back into you and ask you, out of all of the things that you've experienced in your 50 plus years, what is one of the things that stand out the most that has shaped who you are?
Being a mother.
Okay. Say more.
It's a blessing. It's a blessing, and it's difficult. And kind of piggybacking off of Sam, it makes me very strong. There's times I had to cry and wonder why this happened or what did I not do as being a mother. But then I can look and see that I did okay, and I've done good, better than I thought. Of being a mother for me.
Sam?
I guess my foundation of church.
Okay, so there's church and there's God. So did you say your foundation of church on purpose, church?
I did.
Okay. You go ahead, girl. Okay. Your foundation of church. Go ahead.
Did because as a child, my grandmother introduced me to church and God, but my understanding has evolved since I've been 50 plus about God. So that's why I said church.
Okay.
That's why I said church. So my grandmother, put that foundation of church, going to church and Sunday school and Bible study. And what that foundation did was, even if I thought I was doing something I wasn't supposed to, I didn't stay too long and I didn't go too far.
Okay. Yeah. That's definitely a big one. Okay, so we're living out loud, and I don't want the Living Out Loud family to think I just invite guests and I don't share about myself, because that would not be living out loud. So let's see. What do I know about myself for sure? One thing I know for sure is I am an extrovert. I'm extremely outgoing, and people see me that way. And many people, particularly that are people that don't know me well, that aren't close to me, would be surprised to know that once I close the door and get in the inside of my house, I am done. I have given all that I can give. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to really hear from you. I mean, you can call me if it's important. I'm not interested in chatting on the phone. Yeah, because when I am out, it's like I give everything. I will speak to strangers. I will minister to strangers. I give it all. And then I have to come back in my house and just recharge. COVID being locked in didn't do a thing, didn't hurt my feelings at all. I am okay. I have not missed anyone. I'm good. Yeah, and those that I want to talk to, I've talked. If there's a name for that, someone listening, if you know what that is, that personality, let me know. I am extrovert in public, but once I get home, I don't even want to talk. I'm an introvert at home. I don't know. I know that about myself. What were you saying, Tam?
I said that's a lot of energy. By the time you
I don't. When I was a teenager, I loved to talk on the phone, but it's been a long time since I've been a teenager. What I know about myself for sure is that, and this I've learned in the last maybe 15 years, I've been able to, at least almost 20, to acknowledge this. I actually don't like to disappoint people. And so if I've asked you, I would ask you why. And I'm going to say, I figured out why. I don't want to disappoint you because I don't want you to think ill of me, which means I am still working on that thing that I've been taught as a lady, as a woman, and as a girl, to be nice. Be nice, Valerie. Be nice, Rena. Be nice. Well, being nice means you don't disappoint people. Being nice means you don't say no. Being nice means you sacrifice yourself and so somebody else is happy because, well, that's being nice. In the last few years, I would say 50 plus, since I've been 50 and over, I have worked on sometimes just saying no before the thing comes out. No. And so I can see what it feels like for someone to be disappointed. And even though I have gotten the no out and I can feel the disappointment or even the shock or amazement that comes from the one I've said no to, I am still dealing with the fact that I said no. I'm wondering, oh my gosh, what are they going to think about me because I said no? So I guess that's a people pleasing thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm still working on that. I hear as you get older, it gets better. As you get 50, 60, by 70, maybe I can just spit in your face and keep it rolling. I don't know, but I'm still.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Don't you feel as though you're not as stressed saying no?
No, I feel I am still stressed because I said no. Yep. I'm still stressed because, well, did I hurt my feelings? Because so what I get that most women as they age have developed is, or millennials even, because they can say no better than we can, is they say no with no explanation. No, I don't want to do that. No explanation. And I feel the need to say no with explanation. It should be okay for me to say no. Yeah. Say, well, no, not today. That's it. I've got to follow it up. I need to send a letter, get a pigeon and a dove, send chocolates because I said no. Yeah, that's a problem. And I know that about myself. At least that's part of who I am today. So those are my two things. The thing that I believe has shaped me the most, and it's not one thing, like I said, one of the things that has shaped me the most would be my second marriage. And I want you all to know that those that have been divorced and that are listening, and the two ladies that are listening that are on the show with me right now, it is weird to say you've been divorced once. It is super. I'm going to tell you, go out on a date with someone and the dating question comes up, have you been married before? And you say yes. And then in your mind, in a nanosecond, you think, I've been married twice. Are you going to tell them you've been married twice? Because right away, male or female, someone has an opinion about that. So I'm okay with their opinion of that about that, and I don't even feel the need to give an explanation. But my second marriage and how it ended and why it ended, and the result of what I dealt with, as Sam understands, at church. That is the thing that has shaped me the most, because what I dealt with in that marriage and how my church did not support me was ultimately why I ended up in school working on my doctorate in Chicago. And that was the biggest faith move, the biggest show of strength, the biggest sign of I went somewhere where I had no family, no friends, no support system, knew no one, and had nothing. I had $2,500. And I went and lived in a 10 by 10 room coming from a 4,200 square foot home. And I went to start over again with both of my parents being ill at home. My mother actually being terminally ill. That has shaped this second half of my life more than anything else has.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are some of the things that make me, the makings of me. And as we go on through this season, we're going to talk about how marriage has shaped us, how being a mother has shaped us, and the good and the bad, not being a mother, not being able to be a mother, being divorced, being married. Oh my gosh, being single in over 50. Right, Sam?
Right.
Church, looking at stuff that we've learned in church.
Yeah.
And how that has shaped whether we stayed in a marriage or how long we stayed in a marriage.
Right.
Domestic violence, all of that stuff.
Church, why we got married. Oh,
why we got married. Sex, having it, not having it, everything that we have experienced is the makings of us. I think the cool thing is, anybody get a chance to listen to The Makings of Us by Curtis Mayfield, which comes from the movie Claudine, and Gladys Knight does it in there. Beautiful song. But when someone else looks at us, they see all this pretty and beauty, we hope. And we can see some of it is ugly, but it's the ugly stuff, that manure that you put all over the plant that makes it pretty. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it makes it pretty, because without the, often that's when I do The Lord is My Shepherd. When I've preached that a couple of times now, I'm really clear about that part where it says, He maketh me lie down in green pastures. Mm-hmm. Because you guys understand that that analogy that God, the shepherd, is making the sheep lie down in green pastures that, next to the stream. That's the sheep poop in the green pasture. They shit, sorry, for lack of a word, in the green pasture. So stuff happens in your life where God puts us in a position where we lay down in the mess. And it's laying down in the mess that we get up prettier, that the meadows are green. And that's the makings of us. That's what we want to get to, where we LOL. I told Sam earlier today as I was preparing for the show, Tam, that I have looked for other podcasts like this for women 50 plus. I then began to look for millennials, for women in general. And everything about being a better you was about how we look, our weight, our hair, our makeup. Nothing actually dealt with. They might do an episode on loving yourself more, as if that can be solved in an episode. It can't be solved. LOL, I'm just inviting everybody to work on yourself, to journal, to write, and write yourself to wellness. Pray yourself through wellness. Every time you write something down, look at it as a prayer. Because the goal is to say no and be okay with it, right? The goal is, what was yours, Sam? You said can also be a bad thing?
Oh, loving
too much. Tam, overthinking. Everybody, there's a text in the scripture that says, don't give your pearls to swine. Well, Sam, some of your pearls is your capacity to love. There are people that are not even worthy of contact with you to even get close enough to be loved.
Mm.
And it's okay to put them at fault. Jesus says when you get to someone and you are giving them your pearls, when you are loving them and they do not appreciate, shake the dust from your feet.
Mm-hmm.
That we don't have to stay. And overthinking is another way of saying I'm doing something, I'm venturing into something, I'm overthinking it. At what point am I going to let God just step in and be God? So at some point, faith has to take over your overthinking, right?
Yes.
But there's a reason why every individual overthinks, loves in places where they should not love, doesn't want people not to like them, people please.
Right.
Yeah, but all of this makes us who we are. If we know that those are parts of who we are, then we know how to better move through life.
Mm.
We know how to better engage friendships. We know, for the single ladies on this show, that's me and Sam, we know what men not to deal with right away. Right away. If you're in a marriage, it lets you know to be able to speak what needs aren't being met in the marriage. And if you can stay and survive in that marriage, So this is the season kickoff. So this is episode 1 of season 2. And I am excited to have some more conversations. The next episode is going to be on shame. That's so it makes up again who we are. What are we ashamed of, and how does it affect who we are and how we're living? It's okay to be guilty about something, but shame has nothing to do with that. So, ladies, thank you for joining me. So, ladies, thank y'all for joining me. And before I close out and give us Dolly Parton's closing words, her quote, I'm going to ask Sam, is there anything burning that you want to say? And Tam, is there anything burning that you want to say to the LOL audience before we zone out?
Yes, I think this is going to be a great season 2. I think we are going to learn a lot about each other and ourselves, and as long as we're honest. And I think that this is a thing where we can all grow and be better us.
Yeah. Tam, do you have any burning things you need to say before we close out?
Yeah, sisters, be blessed.
Yeah.
Take this time to find something that you always wanted to do. Take this time to look into that and make it happen. And your dreams, at this time, it's time to take some of these dreams and stuff out and make reality.
Yes, Tam, I'm cheering you on for whatever you want to do. And the LOL ladies, a podcast I've been thinking about starting for a few years. I've done this in the pandemic, and thank you guys for listening. We're down to downloads. I'm going to ask you to continue to share with your friends, get together with your girls. If we can't get together in person, Zoom with your girls. Get y'all's journal out and have some real talk, not fake talk. Some real talk. Take off your mask and grow. So, in the words of Dolly Parton, find out who you are and do it on purpose. Until next time, good night, ladies. Hello, ladies, and welcome to season 2 of LOL, Living Out Loud. So nothing's changed. Grab your lady, that means your girls. Grab yourself a drink and a journal. You're going to need a pen. And come on in to LOL, Living Out Loud.